Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to go over something really cool that I found out, and it makes sense, and it's to do with the airbag crash signal, or the crash signal that's triggered when there is an impact in a vehicle. Essentially, when a module detects that there's been an impact, a signal gets sent out to the CAN, and then all the different modules in the vehicle will interpret that signal and do what they have to do to reduce the likelihood of an engine fire and all these sorts of things. So examples include the pyro fuse being blown. Examples include the fuel pump being turned off, and a whole lot of other things like the ignition being turned off, and like, let's say, software flash update reprogramming also being disabled, things like that. So I just kind of wanted to go into that and how that works on an Aston Martin Vantage V12, just for an example. So basically, here is the flag for an impact signal. So if I go here, you can see impact trigger, and that's sent out by the CAN, okay, the body CAN, okay. And when it receives that signal, it actually writes a particular value to something called the airbag, like value in RAM, which is the condition activated, or condition airbag activated, okay. There's been an accident. And then from here, you can see it's written at bit position 0. So if I go into here and I go to the references at bit position 0, where it's loading the bytes, if I go through here, there will be certain results or effects from a crash. So I'm just going through now, looking through all of the code in assembly, and I'm trying to find where it's referencing like bit position 0. Okay, so here we go. Here's an example, right? We're loading the value of the airbag being activated at bit position 0. If there's no crash, it basically will jump to a certain address. So that's what's going on here. So I'm going to say airbag not deployed, okay? And then I'm going to go here and say airbag deployed, okay? And then this section of code is going to continue to run until it's finished executing, and I suppose that will happen until for 5 times, or this particular loop will occur 5 times. It'll go into here. It's going to have some sort of resultant effect on the ignition array. So how the ignition timing works, probably to reduce damage to the engine. That's just me taking a guess or a stab in the dark. And there'll be a few other cool little things that's going to happen. So if I do more investigation work, there's some more interesting things that I found with these particular cars. Okay. Yeah. So an example of some of the other effects that we'll get is things like fuel pump lock, ignition lock, throttle valve lock. Just need to check what that one is. That is starter lock status, flash programming, and injection lock. So all of these things will also be affected as a result of a crash signal. So technically, you can actually change the way that the software interprets that signal. And let's say if you have a airbag signal that is preventing the car from starting, you can actually, instead of reprogramming the airbag module, you can technically patch the ECU to function. I'm not saying that will work with gearboxes, but it will work with engine control units without an airbag. So let's say if you have an airbag module which is not reprogrammable, or you have an airbag module which you're not able to get another part for in an older vehicle, all these sorts of things, this might be a way to get yourself running. And I obviously would only recommend this for track use or off-road use for safety reasons. But there are ways to do things. And yeah, this is an example of, I suppose, one of those things. So be airbag